Yeah, I spoke to Larry. He left. Oh,
How's
he
it
left
going?
on. What's happening?
Away.
So last week, when I was talking to you guys about correctable errors, all right. If you look in the manual, PCA manual, on page, where is it? I just had it. 167. So it's part 4.3 in the appendices.
Yep.
That will break down correctable errors as far as when you can go, your time frame, and that'll help you out just a little bit more than what I did, because I did a horseshit job.
Which section is it in, Kevin?
4.3 in the manual.
Gotcha.
This one with Karen Priato doing a jump off. What's up, Jocelyn?
Nothing. I just finished my dinner. It was great.
You look beat. All right, so I don't know where Jan Washoe is, but first of all, thanks guys for being here on Tuesday. I know a lot of you work for Patty, and she's having a training or something on Thursday, and so that's why we kind of moved it to Tuesday, because I didn't want to go a week without meeting with you guys, or even just seeing you and talking to you about something. Really quick housekeeping. If you guys don't belong to a study group, or if you have not met with your study group, let me know. Everyone should have at least discussed part of their test with someone. Is there anyone that has not met with a group leader from this call? No. Okay, good, beautiful. So just make sure that if you have any questions concerning that, if you have any questions to, let me know. All right. What else are we doing? We did the test, closed date sheets. We still don't know what's going on with COVID. We're still getting updates. So we really don't know, but just in case, be ready. Just in case we do have a season. So you guys make sure that you are ready with that. Has anyone taken the test? No one has taken it and submitted it yet?
Nope.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. So I don't know where Jen is, and she was going to talk about terminology. And so what was brought to my attention earlier about using correct terms was, what was it called? Take obvious off the table. Is that what you were talking about, Jocelyn? Can you explain what that was, what you thought that was at first?
So last year when we kept saying take obvious off the table, take obvious off the table, I'm like, oh, regardless of what it is, we take, like, if it's an obvious travel, we take it off the table. But after reading the CCA manual, and it talked about taking obvious off the table, it really goes into primary and secondary. Now, pass and crash plays, that's completely different. But like, if you see a travel and it's not in your primary, not in your secondary, should we be calling that, even if it's obvious? So that was my question. And
so what would you say to that, Janine?
All right, it would help if I would unmute myself.
Yeah, it would.
You know what? It's a delicate balance because, let's say something's really early in the game and there's a travel and it's in front of your partner. You're not going to go 40 feet and get that call and then undermine your partner in the eyes of the coach, bury your partner, right? That is not a game changer play.
Mhm.
Now, if it's a game changer play and it's an obvious travel that people see, we got to call it, right? That is a big deal. But you get on a slippery slope there if it's a play that's somewhat inconsequential early in a game, midway through a game, and then when the game's completely on the line and it's big, that's completely different situations. And I don't know if I could give a black and white answer on that, but
That's fine. I mean, it's all relative to, your interpretation, and, to younger officials, when they say take obvious off the table, I mean, obvious is a big word.
big word.
That obvious means, okay, if there's a foul in front of Nick, I'm going to go get it. You understand what I'm saying? But obvious to you may not be obvious to Nick, and it's in front of Nick. If
Right.
it's here's the thing, if you have to travel to get it, it needs to be worth the trip. So if you got out of your primary, it needs to be deserving of that. You understand what I'm saying? Does everybody get that sort of kind of? Okay.
So I'm thinking about that play that I sent you from Indianapolis.
Okay.
The one that I came over because I had nothing in my primary, and I ended up calling that hold.
Uh-huh.
And then my partner, I mean, we had a triple whistle on the play. So we had the lead and the trail, they both had a illegal screen, but I had the hold that caused the illegal screen, right? And so we kind of talked about not fishing for stuff too. Like, yes, we're getting obvious off the table, but we're disciplined enough to not fish for a call either, especially when you haven't had a whistle in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, maybe the whole quarter. So that's the play that's like replaying in my head, that I went and I got that because I could only see the hold from where I was and my partners couldn't.
Right, but that was one that, because if you didn't get that one, then something else was going to be called if you didn't get that, correct?
Right.
So the other thing that would have been called would have put the crew in a bad situation. So because nothing was in front of you, and when we don't have anything immediately in front of us, it's all right for us to extend into our secondary.
Okay.
Right. But at that point, we can be Miss Crabtree. We can be the nosy neighbor at that time. We can be Agnes from Bewitched. We can be her at that time. Only when something's not in front of us. The problem is when we have stuff in front of us and we go looking for stuff like that. When we get out of our discipline, that's when we get into trouble. So the play you sent was correct in doing so. That was going to get obvious. That was going to get something that was going to really help the crew. That was going to help the crew's credibility. You guys understand that? Are there any other saying statements, any other terminology that we're not using or that we are using that someone doesn't understand? Please speak up.
Not that I don't understand, but would that be kind of along the lines of possession consequence? I mean, like where early in the game, you might let a little bump go on a rebound as long as no possession changes or anything, but we're late in the game, you're more likely to call it. Is that kind of like you're saying with the obvious too, or no?
Well, possession consequence and obvious fouls I think they're different, because possession consequence is you have to know what the consequence of, you know, that foul or that whistle is going to be. So let's say you got A1 and B1 going up for the ball, and B1 bumps A1 A to B and causes contact to where B1 cannot make a play on the ball. But bumps them off from getting the rebound. They gain an advantage. That putting a whistle on that foul or not putting a whistle on that foul, that's a example of possession consequence, because the consequence of your whistle or lack thereof on that play will affect the possession. You understand what I'm saying? So if you go and get that foul and you say that's possession consequence, you know, that's a possession.
I'm thinking the other end of that where, you know, A1 bumps into B1. It's pretty obvious, but B1 still gets the rebound, comes down with it, and we're going the other way. Like, there is no possession consequence on it. We're going to let that go.
Nick, the way I learned that is you don't want to blow something that's going to be a lose-lose. So let's say you've got your two big post players going up. They're both valuable, right? One bumps the other one a little bit, but not so much that it interrupts that person from getting the rebound and making an outlet pass for a fast break. So now if you call that little bitty over the back, you've got this coach mad at you for kind of a soft foul on a really good big post player. And you got this coach mad because you just took away our fast break over a little bump, right? To me, that's kind of a lose-lose. If you can have some whistle discipline, and now if that little bump causes her to take an extra step, boom. I mean, you know, if that little bump disrupts the outlet pad, boom. But if we can see, I think that's what we're talking about on possession consequence, but you can't come too late on that either. You know, I mean, if it's a big enough foul, we need to blow it right away. But don't go looking for, you know, a little bitty bump that really doesn't have any impact.
Well, we got Natasha. You want to share what you were saying, please?
Yeah, so the aspect of taking obvious off the table, one, I totally agree with what has been said, especially from Kevin and Janine, if I got your name right, sorry. I'm kind of driving right now, so. But, you know, the other pieces that I put in the chat were open and close play. So if we talk about the aspects of what Jocelyn mentioned on primary and secondary coverage, to me, the play that she mentioned on, she had an open angle and their partners had a closed angle. If I have the open angle and I'm able to see the play, then I'm able to also see what is the impact on that play, right? Which is very similar to what Janine just said on the true aspects of possession consequence. To me, if we're coming to make a call because we understand the play is close to our partners, but it's open to me, we understand that the play has now had an impact. Thus, when we blow our whistle, we're blowing on the fact of the impact on the play, whether it be usually puts somebody at a disadvantage, but also if it puts them at an advantage, is more of the mindset that we need to take when we deal with taking obvious off the table. And the next piece, because we are in the day and age and have been in the day and age of video, is it going to be supported on video, right?
Right.
If I can tell you, I've had a play that I have shown to friends of mine, and the angle that is on the video is not the angle that I had in the game. So was I going to be supported calling that an offensive foul in the game? No, because everyone that I sent that play to, based off the angle, they thought it should have been a blocking foul. So my question to myself on that is, should I have gotten that when it's an aspect of my partner was more than capable to make a decision on it, right? So what is the impact? What angle do you have? And then when we talk about obvious, that breaks back down to what's the impact to the game? If the impact to the game from where you are is oh, it kind of looks like a travel, you need to let it go, and your partner has to live and die with that. If the impact to the game is an obvious travel that everybody can see, that based off the angle that you know where the video or the camera's pointing, it's an obvious travel, then to me, yes, you have more leeway to come get it. But I also don't feel that if you're, you know, the new trail, that you're calling a travel that is down near the lead, that you have to look across the, look between 4 players to see just because you thought it was a travel. That's the kind of stuff we need to be able to lay off of. So really what it breaks down is to the impact of that play to your game. If the impact is high, put a whistle on it. If the impact is minimal, or you're guessing, you got to let it go. And the crew either learns from it, partners learn from it, or you know what, that's the one the coordinator tells you, I need you to go get that play. And that's how we learn and get better.
Exactly. So it's really about just keeping the crew, making sure whatever we have to do to make sure that the crew does not lose credibility. So if we have to go and get something to keep the crew, afloat, then let's go get it. And have enough balls to just go and get it. You much rather ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a lot easier for someone to say thank you for saving the crew as opposed to saying, why didn't you come and save us? That's what you really don't want. All right. Now in your manual, page 41 through 44, that's the terminology area, and a lot of it, I don't want to insult anyone. And a lot of this stuff we've already heard. We've already used those. So, like accelerated pace, we know what that means. Are there any terms on these next 4 pages that either causes reasons for pause, you guys don't understand, it's been said to you and you didn't understand what they meant? Especially with the younger people, the younger officials, as far as like this being your first year in, you're going to be in a game. So they're going to ask you about, setting the tempo and the tone. Does everyone know what that means? Does everybody understand that there's a fine line between managing a game and manipulating a game? So everyone knows that. What's the difference between managing and manipulating? So to manage a game, let's see.
I think like I hear that all the time personally, but do I actually know what it means like at the higher up level, like Division II, Division I level? It's absolutely not. So I guess like I'm just used to it at like the lower level of like, let's manage this game, or let's, come out quick, come out fast. Like you hear it all the time, but like you kind of don't realize what it actually means or what that person is intending it to mean. I think that's where I'm at with that.
Okay. Thank you, Austin, for speaking up and telling us that. So Bobby Ray, to manage a game, at this level, because, what does that mean to manage a game?
Well, to me, it's first of all getting all the obvious plays, and then, for me, it's staying level, so that my calls don't become emotional and match the emotion of the game, versus to me, what is the right call or what should be called. When I was younger, I thought, I had the mentality too, kind of a high school mentality. Tosh, me and you talked about this the other day, was talking about, do we really got to call a walk 30 feet from the basket? It really doesn't have any relevance in the play. Or, do we really got to call an arm bar 30 feet from the basket because it really doesn't have relevance on a play? But to me, when we set the tone of the game, if we're consistent in our call based on the rules, and as you get go higher, you get into Division One. All these coaches, the coordinators for each league has gone to all these coaches individually to their practices, met with the coaches individually, and have told them these are going to be the calls that I expect to be made. And if they aren't made, your schedule will pay for it eventually. So the coaches know, like the two hands and the arm bars and the travels. A lot of times on those calls, we don't get questioned a whole lot. The coach might make a wise ass comment like, "Oh, we practice that every day. That's not a walk," but they're probably just testing us to see if the next time that it happens, that are we going to call the walk or not? And to me, that's managing the game and setting the tone for the game from the start. If it's an obvious travel with 9:47 to go in the first period, let's call it. We're setting the tone. Hey, it's a travel, we're calling it. Same thing that happens with 9.4 in the fourth quarter. Are we going to call it? And to me, that's managing the game. It's not letting your emotions be dictated by anybody else or by the emotion of the game. I try to tell myself now, stay as even keel as I can, be consistent in my calls from tip to the last horn. And to me, that's managing the game. And then, your communication with your partners throughout the game, you communicate with your partners. I don't have to say a word to Kevin Dillard after I make a first call of the game or a set call, because that's how I'm communicating with my call selection. If we have a drive to the basket and we have verticality play, and I lay off, and to me it's legal, that's how I'm calling that play. Next play, it might be totally different play, and maybe a whistle is blown. So we're always communicating each other. And, when we set the tone, if Kevin has a question on play that I had, he'll ask me. And don't be afraid to ask those questions or communicate with your partners on that, so that, the management of the game stays consistent, And that's, I don't know if anybody followed me with that, but that's kind of my mindset, my thought process on how I enter into any game that I work.
Okay.
As far as management and as far as taking care of the game.
All right. And then in my opinion, the fine line between managing and manipulating is not calling that foul, at 18 seconds left in the game because the team is up by 13. Now we start refereeing time and score, and that's not our job. Our job is to govern the game according to the rules and make sure that the players abide by the rules from start to finish. So if it's a foul at 9:03, it's a foul at 9 seconds. You guys understand? How many of you guys punch a clock? When you go to work, you have to punch in or you have to log your time. So if you have to work, if you're supposed to, okay, I'm working construction, so I work 7 to 3:30 sometimes. So if I'm there at 7, I'm working until 3:30. I'm not going to stop working at 3:20 because then, I get in trouble or whatever. We get paid to work 40 minutes of basketball. Oh, Father, did I do that right? Yeah. We get paid to work 40 minutes of basketball. So, don't stop working. Don't manipulate the game by not making a call because a team is ahead or because the girl is bigger. So, she can take that. Now we're manipulating it and putting them at a disadvantage. You guys understand that?
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
Is that the same thing when people say know the time and score? Like people say know the time and score to make that call or something.
That's manipulating. I don't care what the time and score is. I could care less who wins, honestly.
Right.
Long as Dwala runs every Thursday, I'm fine. There is one kid in this world, one basketball player in this world that I really care about who wins. And he is in Europe right now. So as far as over here, these girls, it's not my job to make sure or even wonder who a team who, I was working with Bobby and we were in the fourth period with like 3 minutes left. And I'm like, who winning? I mean, he laughed about it, but I didn't care who was winning because my job is not to manage the score. My job is to manage the game. And the player's job is to score.
Hey Kev, I got a good question.
Yes, sir.
So when you talk about manipulating and managing, I'm sure it boils down to consistency, especially in the beginning and toward the end. But
Mhm.
why do we have pre-games on, oh, who's their best player? Who's, this, that, and the other. She does this in a post, and we gotta look out for this individual and that individual. You understand what I'm saying?
I think that's
Why do
more
we
of a,
have these?
I think that's more of a pregame though, Joe, just to know.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, so when we have these pre-games as such, when we go in the game, we look for these things, correct?
Right.
And so it could be, well, okay, well, we're accustomed to her doing this in the post, so let's not call it foul, or let's not, penalize her, as opposed to, you understand what I'm getting at? I'm asking.
Sort of,
Do we-
kind of.
I gotta help on that, if you don't mind.
I do too.
We talk best players, we pregame best players, I think, in my opinion, because a lot of times the coaches are going to coach the hardest when that player is hit with a foul, or if we call it travel violation. And I think that's why we prepare ourselves. We're not blinded, when you get up, because we know who's the best players, generally going into the game, because, we watch games and talk about it. But I don't think that's manipulating as far as knowing who the players are and knowing their tendencies. It's just being prepared to do that. Now, it makes to me, it makes judgment easier, because now, like I always go back to number 13 on Virginia, their best player, who creates a lot of mess because she's an undersized post player. She's like a 6'1" post player, but she's a hell of a player. And I don't know if it was on this call or what call we had, but we talked about 13 on Virginia, because her game is she would drive the basket and she is going to create contact against the bigger player because she has to get her shot off. To me, if I'm lead on that play, I know when 13 gets the ball in the mid post and squares up, she's not going to shoot it.
She's just trying to draw a foul.
Now I'm just going straight to her feet. I ain't got to worry about nothing else, because I know she's not going to shoot it. She's going to pump fake, or she's going to Scooby-Doo it and take off and go to the hole. Okay. So that decision, that's one decision. Next decision is going to be, is the contact she creates, is it legal or illegal? So it's two decisions on a play instead of making, I got to worry about defense, I got to worry about everything else. For me, it's two decisions with that player. And it simplifies the game for me. That's how, when I talk about players, that's what I do with that information.
Nicole, you had some?
Yeah, I think it's important to know that you can bring experience to the game, and that's not manipulation. Bringing experience and knowledge is managing the game. It's educating your partners. It's giving you more information. For you to know that someone scored 30 points the night before is probably important. Who's their highest scorer? This doesn't mean you're not going to call any fouls on them. But you need to know who their go-to players are.
Preconceived notion. You know what I'm saying? It seems like a preconceived notion.
I think that preconceived notions would be like, okay, this girl's going to be an asshole tonight. That's preconceived. Or this coach is going to be a jerk. That's preconceived. So now we go in with our guns loaded, waiting on them to say one word and, oh, you're a jerk. I'm going to give you a technical foul. And all they asked was, where's the ball? You understand what I'm saying? That's more preconceived, as opposed to saying, hey, this post player, she's left-handed. She likes to go right. That's actually helpful, because now when 40 gets the ball on the post, she's gonna go left. So now I can get into my what's next a lot faster, because I know she's gonna go left. So now I'm here. What's next? I'm already at that left-hand position. See how we put what's next in there?
I guess. Yeah, we talked about what. I got it.
And that's just being prepared. Like Tasha said, you don't want to go into any game not being prepared. You want to be as prepared as possible. Treat every game like it's a test. You want to have as much knowledge before you take the test.
So we're not letting it happen. We're not letting
exactly
it on the game itself.
Exactly.
Joe, you could also think of it in terms of like if you know a player has a tendency to travel when she gets the ball low block, then you can position adjust ahead of time to perhaps get that travel, which if you didn't know that before, then you wouldn't know to position adjust. So you can think of it in terms of mechanics as well.
Okay.
And if you know a player is the top rebounder in the league, right? You know that person's going to be around the ball anytime it comes off the rim. And if you can get your eyes right there at that action area early, you know, and know this person is going to be, it's like Dennis Rodman, you know, that he's going to be around that rebound.
Right. There are
It
only
can just help you.
and that will help, because then you'll be like, okay, this play right here, this player right here, I know can make that play. So like Natasha, okay, I know Natasha is right-handed, and I know she has a mean mid-range game. You know, very seldom does she shoot a 15-footer 8 feet. But so now, if I know that the defender is coming at her and her shot falls short, then I know that's not Natasha. I know that's not what she does. Something happened in order for that, in order to have that result. So now it's just a matter of knowing what to expect. And that helps you in you know, your preparation and knowing, okay, you know Brittany Griner is going to bang in the middle. You know she's going to bang. So, you know, one, you're prepared for it. Two, you're in position to make sure that every time Brittany Griner is on that post, you making sure Lisa Thomas don't beat the shit out of her in the back. You understand what I'm saying? Because it will happen. And if you're not in position, now Brittany gets elbowed, she gets kneed, she turns around, she punches Alyssa, now we got to fight.
No, I get it. I get it.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So are there any more, wait, Austin, are you cool with that now? Managing versus manipulating?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I
Okay,
understand
all right. Okay, just wanted to make sure you're cool. Are there any other terms in those 4 pages?
Yeah, Kevin,
Yes.
I've got one.
Okay,
the one that says set the tempo and tone. I
Okay.
have a good understanding of the tone we want to set, but I don't understand how, as an official, I'm going to help set the tempo of the game.
I want to change that word from tempo to temperature. You want to control the temperature of the game. You understand what I'm saying? You don't want to let it get too hot. You don't, you know, you want to make sure that, you know, we're on top of the fouls. We're not letting any, you know, girls they tie the ball up. We want to make sure that we're in there, making sure that the temperature doesn't rise. It's about controlling it.
So how is that different from the tone? See, in my mind, I'm lumping all of that, what you just said, as part of the tone. And I'm looking at tempo as the pace or something. That's what maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
You are. Well, maybe you should run in transition faster then. I don't know.
No. Phil.
Oh, Phil.
All right. On that note.
Phil, I got something for you. So when you,
What's up?
So tempo, do you think of it in terms of pace of play, but it's not necessarily when the ball is live. Let's think about when you are at free throws,
right,
or when you're going to a free throw and the players are walking. So that tempo means, okay, well, we don't want to be here for 5 minutes when we can be here for 2. So let's get the ladies to hustle down to the free throw lane.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be one example of tempo.
Right. Or
getting out of timeouts, so we don't have any delays or ROPs or, heaven forbid, technical fouls.
Yep.
And when does most of your stuff, your nonsense happen in a game?
Dead balls.
Dead balls, exactly.
Yep.
So now ball goes out of bounds. There are no subs at the table. Let's get that ball back in right away. So now, if we don't have a whole lot of dead ball time to officiate, then we don't have a lot of nonsense. If we keep the ball moving, you know, get that ball into play. I understand we want to scan the court, but sometimes we scan it right, we scan it left. Hey, Bobby, you okay? Tasha, you good? Then we scan again, and we scan again. Hell, that's a television timeout at that point. You know what I'm saying? Get the ball back in play. You know, I would say that could be tempo. And even with controlling that, so now the girls have to play. So the temperature, they don't have time to do any nonsense because, okay, here comes the ball. If they want to talk trash to the next girl, they can't do that because they got to guard their girl because here comes the next play.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
And Kevin, I think also in tone setting, making that first call a good one and establishing the arm bar, hand checks, things like that, displacing of cutters, those are all tone setting calls too. We're not having it tonight. We're going to play, we're going to call according to the rules, just as Debbie Williamson said when she visited you in preseason and said, these are the things we're going to call. We are setting the tone and running the game at that point.
This is something that I hear. Make her last foul a good one. Has everyone heard that? She's got 4 fouls, so make this last one a good one. So you telling me the first 4 that she got was bullshit? You understand what I'm saying? So here's the thing, and my mentor Mark Davis told me this: if you referee every foul like it's her last foul, then all 5 of them will be good. Does everyone understand that? If somebody comes to me and says, you know, make the last one a good one, and that's the mentality, you know, even from people that are older than me in officiating, they've come and like, hey, she's got 4, so make the last one a good one. So if you make her first one just as good as her last one, then she got a 5 good fouls. All right.
Hey, Kevin, I would just like to add one thing because it's something that I've noticed over the last couple seasons and being at camp as a clinician.
Mm-hmm.
We do a very bad job at times of putting the ball back in play when players don't want to step out of bounds, when we're holding the ball, knowing at lead, we need to hit our whistle. Just go ahead and hit your whistle and force them to come out of bounds. Like we stand there and we wait. Like, you gonna come out of bounds? You're gonna come out of bounds. And I know for me, maybe this is where I get a little impatient. I will hit the whistle. I'm at trail and I'm hitting the whistle like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Because my partner is standing there waiting for the players to come out of bounds, right? Like we do it on a timeout because we think they're delaying. We do it to break up a huddle because we think they might try to delay. But we don't do it because we're expecting those players to come out of bounds. A little note to that. There are some players on throw-in plays, they purposely wait.
Yep.
They stand in bounds and don't come out of bounds until you hit your whistle and force them out of bounds. Right? So it's a strategy, and it's a strategy at every level. It's not just a Division I strategy. So keep that in mind when we talk about the aspect of the tempo and controlling that. There are teams that purposely will do that to slow the game down for themselves. When in actuality, we need to recognize that, hit our whistle and say, let's go black, let's go white, and put that ball in play, right? So it's just something to keep in mind because I think it's become more of a trend. And as a crew, there's times we're good at it and times we're really, really bad at it. So just keep those things in mind.
I agree. Hey guys, really, really quick. When I first started officiating, I told somebody that I was interested in it, and he didn't believe me. And he told me to show up to this park, and he would teach me 3-person. I refereed for 2 months straight, 4 days a week, 3 games a night, and didn't get paid 1 red dime. But I learned 3-man. I learned 3-person, and it jump-started me to where I am today. So everybody, please just welcome Steven Alexander. That's the man that started everything. So Steve, I'm glad you are on this call. Thank you for joining us. Is there anything you would like to say?
You guys are talking about volleyball, right?
Oh, wow. Okay, next. In other news.
Nice job. Do you do this every week?
Every week we do this, yes.
And what time do you come on every week?
7. I'll make sure that you get the link from Jen for continuing forward. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Nice job.
Thanks. So are you guys, is there anything else in the terminology phrase of the manual that you guys don't understand? especially the younger ones. Come on now, because I don't want you guys getting on the game and one of these veteran officials say something to you and you scratching your head. And speak now. We're good. We're good.
Hey, Kevin, speak to heightened awareness.
Heightened awareness. We usually talk about heightened awareness is usually, the last 2 minutes of the game. We want to have heightened awareness. Has everyone heard that? Meaning you want to, the last 2 minutes, you want everything to be perfect. You want everything to be better than it was, the 38 minutes before that. I think that's nonsense. I think we need to go into the entire game with heightened awareness. So then that way we're not changing anything. So anything that happens in the last 2 minutes, it won't surprise us. So heightened awareness is just making sure that you are aware of everything that is around you. You're aware of, the plays that go to the basket, what we have called, what we haven't called. You're aware of, all the possibilities that can happen on off ball, cutters, screeners, post play. Heightened awareness means you have a understanding of the temperature of the game. You have an understanding of, where we are in the game. We got a jump ball coming up. We got, Michigan State gets the next jump ball. Michigan State has 4 timeouts. Purdue only has 1. There are 4 delay game warnings already on Purdue. That's heightened awareness, is knowing everything that's in the soup that we're about to eat. No salt, right, Bobby? Everything that's in there. And usually we all say that, last 2 minutes, hey, heightened awareness, we gotta be better. Or they'll say, if we haven't been good up to now, we need to be perfect, or whatever that nonsense is. But I'm a firm believer that we need to do that the entire game. Now, is it possible to do it for 40 straight minutes? No, it's not. And any referee that tells you that they can focus for 40 straight minutes, smack them in the back of the head and walk away from them because they lying to you. But my mentor told me you can eat an elephant with a knife and a fork. You just do it one piece at a time. So if you can focus for 30 seconds at a time, focus from shot clock to shot clock, from shot clock to shot clock. If you can't focus, from tip off to media, or from the beginning of the period to your first media, just go from shot clock to shot clock. And the more your attention span goes, or the more you can keep your awareness at a heightened level, then expand that time. But don't try to go overload. Don't try to go for the whole quarter at heightened awareness, because you're gonna fail. You're gonna wander off somewhere.
Kevin, I also think of it as, if I go to the bucket and you stuff me and you embarrass me, right? You just get a monster block on me. I think my antennas need to go up as a referee, that if you've that I might try to take my revenge the next time you go to the bucket. So there might be heightened awareness on that matchup, or something like that on one particular play.
Yeah, and it's just knowing what plays we've had whistles on, what plays we haven't had whistles on. Knowing what plays we have made black and white and what is still gray, and how to manage those grays. You guys understand that? Kamari, are you cool with that? What's up, boo? Anything else?
Hey,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
Steve, I watched you do the believe Notre Dame Louisville game.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, and it was a particularly close game. And toward the end of the game, it seemed to me that you guys zeroed in at the end of the game because both teams had a chance to win or lose the game. So I would believe in what I at my level is that you need to be more aware, or as you would call it, have a heightened awareness of what's happening, because you don't want anything arcane to happen in the last couple of minutes of the game. You want to make sure that you give both teams an equal chance to win or lose the game without you having to blow a whistle. So I would say heightened awareness is your concentration level goes up. I do agree with what you're saying. Your concentration level should be high the whole game. But again, we have those end-game situations where you got two highly ranked teams and two evenly matched teams trying to fight to win the game. So we really should have, I would think that we would have a heightened awareness more so at that time toward those last couple of minutes than the minutes before, minutes earlier in the game.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Does anyone disagree with that? No, everyone's cool. Anything else we want to talk about in the terminology section?
I got one last thing, Kevin. And I hope this isn't too basic, but when we talk about secondary coverage area,
okay,
is your secondary defined, or you just sort of looking broadly around? I guess I've never been clear on when people say secondary or third, outside of your primary. Yeah. How do you define that?
In the manual.
No. All right, I'm done.
Oh, that's hilarious to me. It's actually in the manual though. So I would challenge you to get in that manual.
I know it's in the manual, but I guess in application, it seems like at times your secondary can change based on where the action is.
It can.
Okay.
It can.
So I guess that's more what I'm looking for. It's okay that it changes from time to time based on action, position of players, and things like that.
Yes, it is. It is. It's supposed to change because basketball those players are always moving. So it's going to change, just like your angles are going to change. Now with the secondary, you have to understand when you should have a cadence whistle and when you should have a primary whistle. Those things kind of go hand in hand. You can't have a primary whistle in your secondary area of coverage because your secondary area of coverage is someone else's primary area.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I'm just more concerned about, like I said, for me, I've struggled with, okay, is that really my secondary? And then it could change. I could still be in the lead, but my secondary may be up toward the lead or
Here's the thing. If it's not in your primary and it's super big, say damn and then blow your whistle. That will give you a cadence whistle. Right? If it's super big, now it has to be super big. You're not going to somebody else's yard for something small because that's just the way it is. If it's super big and it's worth you going over there, say damn and then blow your whistle. That will give you a cadence whistle because cadence whistles and secondary go hand in hand. All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else, guys? We got an awesome game for you. Does everybody have Kahoots? Please download Kahoots. Hey, Rachel.
Which one?
Rachel Lentz. Going once, going twice. Rachel. Okay.
See if she made you host already.
No.
Yeah, I saw it flip and say that Kevin was the host, so he should.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you should be able to share your screen right now.
But I'm not doing the Kahoots. Jocelyn is. So how do I make Jocelyn the host?
So it should be where it says.
Sorry, I've got you. Just a second.
There you go. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, my apologies for stepping away.
No, you're good. Did you wash your hands? Hey, Paul.
I'm unnecessary questions.
Look, you guys are too serious for me. Y'all gotta laugh. Life is way too short. Natasha, I love that picture of you, by the way.
Thank you.
She just looks so happy.
I was happy. It was the start of a new year. We had big things coming. You gotta be happy.
Okay.
You go in sad.
All right. So does everyone have Cahoots? Jocelyn, you're on.
Yeah, there's the pin. This is my girl Tori made it for us for one of our other study groups. So we decided just to use it since we're going over terminology.
And rule 4. Three, 4, 4, 8, 0, 5, 7. Enter.
Mine is taking forever.
You're gonna lose anyway, James, so it don't matter.
Oh my gosh, Kevin.
Don't pick on my new friend James.
Yeah.
We bonded over last night.
Oh my gosh.
Right, over one question. Call. Because we got 19 in right now, 20. Let's see.
The count says we have 30 participants.
30 participants. Thank you. Thank you, Leah.
You're
Jeez
welcome.
Louise.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. So I haven't decided what the prize is on this just yet. Bobby won last week and he got a sleeve of golf balls.
He ain't got shit yet.
Well, I bought them. I just got to bring them to your country ass. So I don't know what this prize is going to be. Maybe a What's Next t-shirt. How about that? Yeah. What's Next t-shirt?
Winner gets to choose.
No.
What?
No.
No.
Hell no. All right, let's get ready to
The
go.
winner choose something that Kevin has to do that's semi-embarrassing. He has to do it on the call.
Negative.
How about you pay the people you owe money to before you make suggestions?
All right, y'all, let's go. We got 24 on. Let's go.
Man, Kev, man.
Oh, this is funny. All right, y'all. Let's learn. Let's get better. Oh, we got 35 questions.
A blank is in the act of shooting. Type your answer.
What?
You don't know your terminology.
Oh, Jesus, I'm going to look it up. Oh, my God.
An airborne shooter.
I had shoot.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Okay, Vroom. Wow, she got all the points. He got all the
She
points.
did this shit the other night. It's the second time she's had it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
misleading. There was only one blank. There should have been 2 blanks. That's misleading.
Write small. A BHD is any player outside the lane area. Yes. So true. A BHD is any player with control outside the lane area, either facing or with her back to the basket. Does everyone understand that? Yes? I don't know who. Varun, you cheated.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Intentionally striking the ball or intentionally changing its direction with hand or arm. Okay, as you guys answer, let's go over uniforms real quick. Let's look at this official right here in his uniform. What's right? The answer is batting. Number 4, where is the team bench? (23 feet, 28 feet to the end line). Type an answer. During a timeout, a team bench is extended from 28-foot line to the, to the blank nearest the bench area. Free throw line.
Free throw line.
Yeah, it should be the bench area. It should have been the bench area. Okay, multi-select. Players should have control when. Okay. A player of the team in control live ball pass between teammates. Ball at the disposal of a player is what?
Also, mine glitched a little bit and I didn't actually get to see the final answer of the last one. What was the correct answer of the multi-select?
It was, oh shoot.
Holding and dribbling, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't holding and dribbling. What was the answer of number 5 or number 6?
Above.
I don't know. I'll find out after we finish and tell you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wasn't it free throw?
Yeah, it was free throw line.
No, it was the one about when it's in, maybe it was 2 before that then. When it was about when does the player have control, and the 3 that had the highest score were at the disposal of the thrower in holding the ball during live ball and dribbling.
Yeah, it was holding the ball during the live ball. Holding the ball, live ball, dribbling, and thrower in.
And
It was
all 3 of them were the right answer?
Yeah, it was multi-select.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Those answers are coming in quick. You guys are so quiet. It's scary. Oh, Father. Who is that dropping? There's no team control during a try for goal when the ball is in flight. Okay, who answered? Okay, for those of you who answered false, let's figure out. Does anyone want to say they answered false or under?
I answered
not
false, but I accidentally clicked the wrong one.
Oh, Jason. 'Cause
It
you
was
got on a
the no team in control versus the team in control, so that got me.
Oh, okay.
I know the answer, I just hit the wrong goddamn button.
I know you do. It's the Wisconsin shirt you got on. All right, let's go. Gosh, I'm still losing. What term is used for the purpose of establishing a people? So what do you do if you hit the wrong answer? Jason?
You lose.
Yeah,
You fall into the same trap I do.
Nothing. You can't take it back.
Yeah, no.
That's funny. That is
So
funny.
why is that control versus jump ball? I'm just kind of curious.
I don't know. Let's figure that one out. What was the question?
What is the procedure to determine?
No, what term is used
What term
to
is
determine,
used?
to determine
Oh,
AP,
the AP
procedure?
procedure.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. So it would be control. Okay. Next question.
It's rule.
Why though?
It's Rule 4, Section 7, or Section 8, Article 6. Control for the purpose of establishing the alternate possession or procedure occurs when.
So
it is.
So she took the sentence and took a word out of the sentence. There it is. Okay.
That's stupid.
Person returned to the locker room. Okay, who said a person receiving their fifth foul is ejected?
Red was
Mine said,
false and
A
blue was
should be
true.
I read it wrong.
Oh, okay. All right.
Andy, I thought Andy's ejected. I thought she might have said "fuck you" or something.
After she gets her fifth technical foul.
Oh, that's a bullshit call, ref.
Yeah. You get used to hearing that though.
A disqualified player must be replaced within blank seconds.
Oh.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make a comeback.
15.
We're gonna make a comeback. We're gonna make a comeback.
Blank is the act of immediate dismissal of an individual from participation of the remainder of the game.
We're gonna make a comeback.
It is ejection. Disqualification just means that they received their 5 fouls.
And they can't
That
participate for
doesn't
the rest of the
count as
game.
immediate dismissal from the rest of the game.
No, because like so the ejection is they might have 2 fouls, and then they start a fight, so now they're automatically gone immediately. Maybe Kevin can explain it better.
Okay, so if someone is ejected, so you can be ejected in the first period if Bobby is your official. And that means that you have to go immediately and you can't participate the remainder of the game. Disqualification means that disqualification, you're dismissed from the game as well. But immediately is the key word. Thank you, Tasha. You understand what I'm saying?
Because when you're disqualified, you get 15 seconds for replacement, whereas when you're ejected, you have to get off the court now.
You got to get the hell off the court, yes. And depending on who ejects you, that's probably what they'll say. I don't know. I haven't ejected anybody. Bobby, what do you say when you eject someone?
Never have. Never have.
Never have? I did eject the coach, and I said good night. It probably wasn't the right thing to say, but.
Kev, I did actually tell a player you got to go. I did say that.
A player who receives
that was in my younger days. I didn't know no better.
She said, you got to go. That's funny. Yes. Okay, so who doesn't understand the intentional and technical foul? If they get one of each. That was changed.
So I read it as a person got an intentional and technical, like I didn't put that together as two. I said separately. So no, they weren't ejected. I didn't see the and.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like I thought it was just like intentional and technical were separate. The and part got me.
Okay. So you thought it was an intentional technical foul?
Well, no, I just thought it was a player who receives an intentional.
Oh,
so like
okay,
if they receive an intentional foul, they're not ejected. Like that, they're not ejected from the game if they receive an intentional foul.
Okay, all right, I get you. But
so
they
if it would have
changed.
said like a player who received both an intentional and technical, you would have got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All
just
right.
I didn't read the entire question. So
So then just to confirm, if they get 2 technicals or 2 intentionals, they're also ejected, right?
Right. If they get 2, a combination of 2 naughty, I call them naughty fouls. If they get a combination of any of the naughty fouls, they're gone. Right? So it's kind of like, I don't know how much, if you guys eat fast food or not, but like you can get, 2 Big Macs, or you can get a Big Mac and a quarter pounder.
That's a horrible analogy.
Classic mix and match deal. I'm with you. Classic mix and match.
It's a mix and match.
I can guarantee if you have both of them, you got to go.
What?
You should not need the rule book for this.
Come on,
I don't
Kevin.
even
You should
I
know.
No, I didn't even read the question. It came up so fast.
Bravo. It is in Rule 10.
You went so fast, Justin.
It's not me, it's the computer.
Fumbo.
The answer is false. Any player can recover a fumble call.
Okay, who thinks only the offense can recover it? wrong answers. All right.
Double the point.
Uh-oh.
What is the radius of the restricted arc?
Radius,
Uh-oh.
circumference.
Yeah, all of that. How big is it?
3 times pi.
Let's see.
It is 4.
Yes. You know they changed it from 3 to 4. It's never been 5.
Multi-select.
Select all that apply for automatic ejection. There it is. Who said 5th foul? They had to put the wrong answer.
An inadvertent whistle.
Is a
Never
mistake.
happened.
It's a mistake. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Good job, crew.
Good work, cats. So I will say this. When you do have an inadvertent whistle, and it will happen, do not make anything up. Just say inadvertent whistle, my bad, and put the ball back in play right away. Okay? Because if you make anything up, then you lose your credibility. And don't say you didn't blow your whistle, right? When the dribbler jumps off 1 foot and lands simultaneously on both feet. Ah!
That's me. I got that one wrong because I thought a jump stop was defined as like when you land on it, then you can pivot again.
Well, actually, the way that question is worded, to jump off of 1 foot and land on 2 feet, that's a travel. You guys think so? I'm protesting that question.
Good luck with that, Kevin.
Blank is movement of the ball caused by a player who throws basketballs onto another. She got 35 questions on this thing? Jeez Louise.
A pass.
True or false? Players are entitled to a spot on the playing court provided they get there first. I'm starving.
True. This is the method of putting the ball back in play.
Putting the ball on the ground. It's funny.
Kevin, I just did the exact same thing. I read it out loud and laughed at it too. I was just muted.
Resumption of play. When a correctable error occurs, the ball is placed at the
These answers are quick.
Mhm.
Point of interruption. Good job, crew.
Good work, guys.
These group of law govern the game of basketball.
What the signers? Little Easter egg in there.
Rules.
Good work, cats.
Where is a that's written horribly.
That's terrible.
That is horribly written.
Oh gosh.
It's
That's- no, it's not. Oh, that's terrible.
I protest.
I processed that one. That was horrible.
What was that even supposed to ask?
Yeah, exactly. Who's on first? That was terrible.
I
What's
don't
on
know.
second? I don't know what's on third, by the way.
We're gonna take those points away.
Please do.
Fun fact about me, I did that for a talent show when I was in elementary school. My friend and I did the whole Who's on First skit.
I've never seen that. You'd have to do that one day.
I won't. Mm-mm.
Multi-select.
The boundary lines include the blank and the inline and the sideline.
See,
Question sucked my ass.
why did it stop counting?
Why wouldn't the end line or the division line be part of that, since they use that as a boundary line, like to go over and back? Or are they just saying something that's more of out of bounds? Because that's how I understood it.
Not sure, but Rule 4 said Section 6,
Division line.
boundary lines of the playing court shall consist of inlines and sidelines.
So
Oh,
basically, the boundary lines are just the perimeter of the courts.
Right.
The defense can go past that end line or division line to get a ball. It wouldn't be out of bounds. So it's not a boundary line.
Right. Boundaries
So when
are
defense is on offense, it bounds them and they go over and back.
what? When the defense is on offense.
I'm just being funny. Never mind.
You were confusing me when the defense is
It
on
was
offense.
a joke.
Oh, I got it.
Double the points.
Getting down to it.
The answer is true. 4-7, y'all. 4-7. There's team control when the ball is in flight for a try.
We're almost there, guys. Good work, cats. interrupted dribble.
Delay. Good job.
You guys are quiet, like you're really, really thinking, or you're eating a good meal.
This is false.
Okay, so those that hit true on this, the key to this is after successfully inbounding the ball, because you can only advance prior to advancing the ball. And to inbound the ball is a form of advancement. Those that hit true. That's why the question is false.
The answer is false.
The answer is false. I got you. My bad. No one got that one. Double points, y'all. May establish in the RA when the play starts inside the LTV.
True. Last one. The answer is false.
All right, so that's it. So who is not my call coach?
Paul Novak. I'm a size titleist, in case you're wondering.
Okay. Who is JR? Who is JRG? Who is JRG?
Sorry, I was waving Janine.
All right. And Karate Kid is yours truly. So, Jason, you got to buy me something. How about that?
Is that the comeback you were talking
I don't-
about, Kevin?
I don't know if that was in the suggestion box.
That is in who is my suggestion box? Where is he?
Right here.
Oh, you are my suggestion box.
Yeah.
Okay, well, remind me. I'll put it in there. All right, so guys, we kind of went a little long today, but it's cool. Hopefully you guys weren't bored, but this was part of the rule book and the case book that we needed to touch on. And I'm kind of glad we did because it gave us an understanding as terminology goes. And then definitions, we just have to know what everything is for the most part. And don't take for granted that we know, because there were some things that we didn't know. And one or two words can actually trip us up. Okay. So does anyone have any questions about what was discussed today? No? Anybody have any questions about last week? What was discussed? No? Okay, so now I know I hyped up this guest speaker for this week, and we couldn't make it because of a conflict with Patty's meeting. But next week, you guys got to be here. It's going to be really, really special. All right. Thank you, Natasha. And so if everybody is all good, and I know it's 8:30 and it's time to get off this call, remember, you guys stay safe out there. if you plan on voting, vote early. Don't vote often, but vote early. Be prepared to stand in lines if you have to, and just be good. How about Jocelyn? Thank you for doing the game. Appreciate you. And those of you that added your input tonight and to help out with the call, I really do appreciate that. Jen, do you have anything to add?
Everything going well with the chess groups? Good. We are going to take some time, I believe it's the 29th after our special guest, to go through any questions or discrepancies between the groups.
I will say this. I'm sorry, Jen.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Group leaders. Those of you that are on the call, group leaders, make sure that you kind of make it interactive. What we don't want is to have, people just on there just to get answers. We want to make sure that everyone is getting knowledge as opposed to getting answers. So don't just have your group and be like, all right, question 1 is A. Question 2 is C. You guys know, anybody agree? Anybody disagree? Get people involved. Hey, Bobby, wake up. What's number 4? You understand what I'm saying? Don't let nobody fall asleep on you. Make sure that everyone is getting some knowledge from that and being a part of it. Jen?
Just a reminder, if anyone has monitor review plays from any level that you're able to send to me, that is appreciated. I would also be interested if you have a topic that you would like covered that we have not yet gotten to. Please send that as well. Outside of that, guys, we've had the most people on our call since our very first one. So I want to thank everyone who's joining us continually, and those who have had volleyball. Mario, looking at you, who've had volleyball. Thank you for watching the recorded messaging, and for Kenny for challenging some of the things that we've talked about. The level of engagement that we've had in our sessions it's really, really, really great. So I hope everyone is getting something out of it.
It is. Rachel, are you available? Rachel Lentz, would you like to say anything?
Well, just keep in the book, guys. That's gonna get us all the way. That's how we keep getting better. So I appreciate everybody keeping with it, like Jen said, and just keep digging into the book. Our life begins at the end of our comfort zone.
All right, and
keep pushing.
That's about it. Tasha, you want to say something real quick? No? Those of you that don't know, Tasha and I, we are like, I guess we really feed off of